The stars looked cold through the viewing screen of the warship. Commander Vorn stood with his arms crossed, watching the blue planet grow larger with each passing moment. Earth, such a small world. Such weak creatures living on it. "Commander, we have an incoming transmission," his officer said. "It's from the Galactic Council." Vorn waved his hand. "Let them speak." "It changes nothing." The screen flickered. An old alien appeared. His name was Ambassador Thal. He had gray skin and tired eyes. He looked worried. "Commander Vorn, please listen to me," Thal said. His voice shook. "Turn your fleet around. Leave this system. Do not go to Earth." Vorn laughed. "You waste my time, Ambassador. My fleet is the strongest in 3 sectors. We have weapons that can crack planets. These humans have nothing." "You are wrong," Thal said. He leaned forward. "I have lived for 200 years. I have seen 3 empires try to take Earth. All of them failed. All of them." "Failed?" Vorn's voice was full of doubt. "These humans barely leave their own planet. They fight among themselves. They have no unity." Thal shook his head slowly. That is what the others thought too. The Krell Empire thought the same thing. They sent 50 warships to Earth. Only 2 ships came back. The soldiers on those ships were broken. They would not speak of what happened. Vorn felt a small touch of doubt, but he pushed it away. The Krell were weak. Everyone knows this. Then what about the Drax? Thal asked. They were not weak. They were warriors. They conquered 40 worlds. When they went to Earth, the humans destroyed their entire fleet in 3 days. 3 days, Commander. Lies, Vorn said. Or the Drax made mistakes. The Third Empire was the collective, Thal continued. His voice grew softer. They tried to be smart. They did not attack right away. They watched Earth for months. They learned human languages. They planned everything perfectly. Thal paused. The humans still won. The collective never tried to conquer another world after that. Vorn turned away from the screen. His officers watched him. They looked nervous now. Good. Fear kept soldiers sharp. "Why do you tell me these stories, Ambassador?" Vorn asked. "Do you want me to fear these humans?" "I want you to understand," Thal said. "Humans are different. They do not think like us. When you corner them, they do not surrender. They become more dangerous. When you kill one, 10 more will come for revenge. They never forget. They never forgive. Then they are animals," Vorn said. "No," Thal said firmly. "They are survivors. Their planet tried to kill them for millions of years. Ice ages, diseases, predators, volcanoes, yet they survived everything. They learned to adapt, to fight, to win." Vorn looked at Earth again. It looked so peaceful, so green and blue and white. How could such a pretty planet hold such danger? "There is a saying in the galaxy now," Thal said quietly. "It started after the Third Empire fell. It says, if you see a human ship, show respect. If you see a human world, leave it alone. If you fight a human, pray to your gods." "I do not pray," Vorn said coldly. Thal's face filled with sadness. "Then I will pray for you, Commander. I will pray for all your soldiers. Because you are about to learn why every species in the galaxy fears Earth." The transmission ended. The screen went dark. Vorn's second officer stepped forward. "Commander, should we ... Should we reconsider?" "No," Vorn said. His voice was hard. "We go forward. These humans have been lucky. Nothing more. Our technology is superior. Our training is better. We will take Earth in 1 week." He turned to face his crew. "Send word to all ships. Prepare for orbital assault. Target their military bases first. then their cities. Show them no mercy. The officers saluted. They moved to their stations. But Vorn saw the doubt in their eyes. Far below, on Earth's surface, alarms began to sound. Captain Reed stood in the command center, watching the alien fleet appear on the scanners. Hundreds of ships. Maybe thousands. He smiled. It was not a kind smile. Here we go again, he said softly. They never learn. Asterisk first contact. The first missile hit Vorn's shield ship at dawn. The explosion lit up the dark side of Earth like a second sun. Vorn watched from his command deck as the shield flickered but held. Return fire, he ordered. Destroy their launch sites. His weapons officer nodded. Energy beams shot down from orbit. They struck military bases across 3 continents. Fire bloomed where the beams hit. Vorn smiled. This was going well. Then everything changed. Commander, his sensor officer shouted. Multiple launch sites activating. Hundreds of them. They're hidden underground. Vorn frowned. How many? I count. 3,000 launch sites. No, 4,000. They keep appearing. The missiles came up like angry insects. They swarmed toward the fleet. Vorn's ships fired their defense systems. They destroyed many missiles, but not all of them. 3 ships exploded, then 5 more, then 10. Impossible, Vorn whispered. Their technology is primitive. His tactical officer looked pale. Commander, they are not using advanced missiles. They are using simple rockets with heavy warheads. Hundreds at once. Our defense systems cannot target them all. On Earth, Captain Reed watched the battle from his motor. The screens showed Vorn's fleet breaking formation. Good. They were confused already. Send the signal, Reed said. Phase 2. Across the planet, human fighters launched. They were small craft, fast. They flew in patterns that made no sense. They split apart and came together. They dove toward the larger alien ships and fired at close range. What are they doing? Vorn demanded. Those ships are too small. They have no shields. They are sacrificing themselves, his officer said. They crash into our ships when their weapons run out. Vorn felt cold. What kind of species did this? What kind of warriors threw away their lives so easily? Send the ground troops, he ordered. Take their cities. If we control the surface, they must surrender. The drop ships fell like rain. They landed in a major city. New York, the humans called it. Vorn's soldiers poured out, weapons ready. The streets were empty. Where are they? The ground commander asked through the communication link. Then the humans appeared. They came from buildings, from sewers, from underground tunnels. They did not wear uniforms. They looked like regular people. Old ones, young ones. But they all carried weapons. The battle in the streets was chaos. Vorn's soldiers had better armor, better weapons, better training. But the humans had something else. They had anger. They set traps. They used their own buildings as weapons, bringing them down on Vorn's troops. They fought from windows and rooftops. When Vorn's soldiers cornered them, they did not surrender. They fought harder. Pull back to the landing zone, the ground commander ordered. His voice was tight with fear. We cannot hold the city. Vorn watched the reports come in. His forces were losing ground. Literally, the humans were pushing them back. How? He asked. We are superior in every way. His tactical officer spoke quietly. They do not fight like soldiers, Commander. They fight like the planet itself is fighting us. Every human is a warrior. Every building is a fortress. Every street is a battlefield. Captain Reed allowed himself a small smile. The aliens were learning. But it was too late. Release the submarines. he ordered. Target their fleet from below. The ocean erupted. Missiles broke through the water's surface. They struck Vorn's ships from an angle the shields could not cover. More ships exploded. Vorn's hands gripped the command console. He had lost 30 ships. 30. In less than 6 hours. "Commander," his second officer said, "perhaps we should withdraw, regroup, come back with more forces." "No," Vorn said, but his voice was not as strong as before. "We commit everything. Full assault. Use all our weapons. Burn their cities if we must." His officer looked afraid. "Commander, if we do that, do it." Vorn roared. The fleet moved into lower orbit. Every ship charged its weapons. They would end this now. On Earth, Reed saw the fleet descend. He knew what was coming. "All forces," he said calmly. "Execute final protocol. Show them why we are called humanity." Across the planet, humans prepared. In bunkers. In ruins. In the wilderness. They all looked up at the sky. They were not afraid. They were ready. Asterisk. The Price-Fern's fleet unleashed everything. Energy beams carved through clouds. Explosions turned night into day. Cities burned. Mountains cracked. The ocean boiled where the weapons struck. "This is the end," Vorn said. "No species can survive this." He was wrong. From the smoke and fire, the humans struck back. Not with fear. Not with desperation. With calculation dot space stations that Vorn thought were destroyed suddenly powered up. They had been playing dead. Their weapons locked onto his fleet. Railguns fired. Massive chunks of metal flew at incredible speed. They punched through shields like paper. "Commander!" His sensor officer screamed. Unknown contacts rising from the planet. Fast movers. Thousands of them. Captain Reed sat in the cockpit of his fighter. Around him flew 500 of Earth's best pilots. Behind them came waves of attack craft, bombers, interceptors, even old atmospheric fighters modified for space combat. "All wings," Reed said into his radio. "Remember the plan? Hit them where it hurts. No mercy." The human swarm hit Vorn's fleet like a hammer. They were everywhere at once. They flew between the big ships, too close for the main guns to target them. They fired at engines, at weapon ports, at shield generators. Vorn watched in horror as his perfect fleet fell apart. The humans did not fight with honor. They fought to win. They used every advantage, every weakness, every mistake Vorn made. "They are inside our formation," his tactical officer shouted. "We cannot fire without hitting our own ships." "Then send fighters to stop them," Vorn ordered. His fighters launched. But the human pilots were better. They flew like they were born in space. They twisted and turned. They made impossible moves. Vorn's fighters exploded one after another. On the ground, his troops faced the same nightmare. The humans had disappeared into their ruins. Now they emerged. But they brought friends. Tanks rolled from hidden garages. Artillery opened fire from positions Vorn's sensors never detected. Soldiers in powered armor charged his positions. "This is ground commander," a voice came through, full of static and fear. "We need extraction. Now we cannot hold. They are everywhere. They do not stop. They do not." The transmission ended in screams. Vorn felt something he had not felt in 20 years of war. True fear. "How many ships have we lost?" he asked quietly. His officer checked. His hands shook. 63, Commander. More are damaged. The humans have boarded 7 of our vessels." "Boarded?" Vorn could not believe it. "How?" "They used small craft to attach to our hulls. They cut through. They are fighting inside our ships now. Captain Reed's fighter attached to Vorn's command ship with a magnetic clamp. He and his team cut through the outer hull with plasma torches. They dropped into a corridor. Alien soldiers waited for them. The fight was short, brutal. The aliens had never fought in close quarters against humans before. They learned quickly that humans were stronger than they looked, faster, more vicious. Reed's team fought through 3 decks. They reached the command center door. Reed planted charges. The door exploded inward. Vorn spun around. A human stood in the smoke. Not tall, not intimidating. Just a man in combat armor. But his eyes held something Vorn finally understood. Determination. Absolute. Unbreakable. The look of a species that survived everything their planet threw at them. That climbed to the top of their food chain through will alone. Surrender, Reed said simply. Or die here. Vorn looked at his officers. They were beaten. He was beaten. In less than 1 day, his mighty fleet was shattered. I surrender, Vorn said. The words tasted like poison. Then call your ships, Reed ordered. Tell them to leave now. Vorn did. His surviving ships jumped away. They fled into deep space, carrying their shame with them. 3 days later, Vorn sat in his cell. The humans had treated him fairly, given him food, water, medical care for his wounds. This somehow made it worse. Ambassador Thal appeared on the screen in his cell. The old alien looked sad, but not surprised. I tried to warn you, Thal said gently. I know, Vorn replied. His voice was empty. I will spend the rest of my life warning others. Earth must never be attacked again. The price is too high. Thal nodded. Perhaps you can save others from your mistake. On Earth, Captain Reed stood on the roof of his command center. The sun was rising. The city was damaged, but standing. His people were tired, but alive. Above. New defense stations were already being built. Stronger, better, ready for the next threat, because Reed knew the truth. There would always be another Vorn, another species that did not believe the warnings, and humanity would be ready. Always ready. The end asterisk.